Hey everybody, my name is Ron Ghoshal, and today I'm going to walk you through a LinkedIn overview so you can get the most out of your job search and position yourself correctly when you enter the world of work. You might recognize my last name from professors with the same last name who are teaching your class. So I'm going to take you through it top through bottom. What I recommend, so you can kind of follow along, um, is either to open a LinkedIn profile somewhere on your phone or on your device, and take the time to pull up a really great one. I recommend this guy, Ron Ghoshal, linkedin.com/in/Ron Ghoshal. You can take a look at my profile because I have it set up pretty fully, right? And it works pretty well for whatever I use it for. So I'm going to run through that, and I'm not going to share my screen with you at this video, but it'll give you sort of a step-by-step approach on how to make your profile awesome. At the very top of everyone's profile is a background banner. LinkedIn provides a lot of default banners. I recommend you customize it. Take a picture you took on a trip. Take a time that you were working with a bunch of college students on a project. Take something meaningful to you and put that as your background picture. Take a moment to Google LinkedIn background banner size and resolution so you can get the right size, and use a basic image editor to make sure the size of the image is correct. So whether it opens up on a mobile device or on someone's PC, whoever is looking at you and considering you for a job, they see the image the way you want them to see it. Why does this image need to be personalized? Because a lot of times you might need some sort of an icebreaker where whether you're in an interview or you're conversating with a peer, a colleague, or somebody who might be a prospective employer. And this is a good way to have recruiters sort of ask you, hey, what's up with this image, right? And sometimes they might do that. You might also say, hey, I'm really into photography. Take a look at that banner image. Or, hey, I worked on this project at Montclair, and it's actually on my banner image at LinkedIn. And again, you're redirecting them to your professional profile, using that as a way to warm up the conversation, right? At the end of the day, anytime you're looking for a job, you're dealing with a person. You're, of course, dealing with AI agents and HCM tools that are going to analyze your profile, rank you in different ways, and we're going to sort of make sure we go through that today as well. But remember, you're dealing with people at the end of the day, so you want to come across as personable, and that starts with having a warm start to a conversation, as well as your LinkedIn profile picture, right? We've gone through the COVID era and everyone worked remotely. A lot of executives, as well as professionals in different industries, changed their profile picture from the professional shot to, hey, this is what I look like at home. But I recommend strongly that you keep your your picture professional. Make sure that the framing is correct. You can look at LinkedIn headshot best practices on Google or LinkedIn's help articles to find out what's the right way to do that. But generally, you want a few inches over your head and up to your chest as the frame for your profile picture. You can have a professional headshot. I don't. My buddy who I used to work with took a picture of me in New York City, and that's been my picture for the entire decade that it's been up there, probably. All right. And it works well. It's professional. I'm smiling. It's engaging. And it kind of shows who's going to show up at work when you hire them. Now, if it turns out that your picture is looking one way and then you come in with an extremely long beard or like a crazy tattoo on your face, that might be jarring to your prospective employer. So try to make it true to yourself, and a clear resolution picture. Again, look for size recommendations before you put that up, and make sure you're wearing some sort of a professional outfit. Now, if you're a coder in some sort of startup world and everyone's wearing black t-shirts, okay, that makes sense for your profession. If you are going for a nursing position, and you need to have a more conservatively professional look, then do that. Maybe you're wearing some sort of a nurse's outfit or some sort of medical uniform on top. If you're an executive, maybe suit and tie, right? So make it right for the industry that you're applying to, and understand who's going to be the hiring manager and interviewer and who they might want to represent them inside their company, right? Because they're going to hire you, and you are a representation of who they are, okay? So that's your profile picture. The next section down is your name. And then there is a very important section, which is like your main heading of your LinkedIn profile. If you look at my profile, it says startup and operations leader, blah, blah, blah. I have it segmented with a vertical line operator. And then I have applied AI, Gen AI innovator, driving scalable solutions. My profile is really complicated because I run my own business. I'm a consultant for other companies, and I have a working career where I work for different companies as a job. So my profile really has to resonate not just my mission as somebody who is looking for a job and going to work at a company, but it also has to make sense from somebody who's a business owner and prospective clients looking at my profile as well. So you have to find that blend. If you're looking for a job, you might even write up there, hey, open to new employment opportunities, right? Boom, that immediately hits the nail on the head on what type of work you're looking for. But please understand that once you are in a professional career track or any career track, you want that description to not just be the default, which is your position title at company, right? You want to edit that, and you want to change that something that exemplifies a skill set. Think about a come to me when statement, right? So if you're in a job and you had to write a come to me when statement, you might say, hey, employers come to me when they are looking for someone to do graphic design for their marketing team that makes sales happen, right? And maybe you use a part of that come to me when statement as your subheading. So it could say something like graphic design expert creating sales for organizations, right? Registered nurse focused on patient care, business management intern looking to grow and scale companies, right? Whatever it might be, make it like a come to me when statement and then sort of convert that into a great subheading. The next thing I'll tell you about that subheading and your name, as well as the location right underneath it, is that stuff comes up on Google searches, even if you're not even if you're not logged into LinkedIn. That stuff also a lot of times feeds into applicant tracking systems. So you really want to get that right, and you want to pay attention to that section. The location by default in a lot of cases might be your town. So if you live in XYZ, New Jersey, or wherever, it might be your town and state. Change that to a more regional setting so you apply to a broader recruiting audience. What that means is a lot of applicant tracking systems, including LinkedIn, do a radius-based search on the back end to discover if you're in the proximity of the working area. So if I'm in Jersey City, New Jersey, and I'm hiring you, and you are located in Trenton, New Jersey, you might not even come up on my search because you've listed Trenton, New Jersey as your location. However, if you're looking to work in the New York City proximity, you might want to instead use a regional location setting, such as greater New York City area or New York City metropolitan area, or you can change that to Philadelphia area. There's a regional setting that's always available based on where you are, and that will make you more appealing and come into more searches for local candidates that recruiters do, hiring managers do, and companies do, as well as applicant tracking systems do. So I hope that helps. The next thing you'll notice next to your location is a contact information link. In that, you should see a few different sections, including your profile section, a website section, phone number, email, birthday. Some of that stuff is visible. Birthday is not visible to anybody. However, you want to add in, if you have a portfolio link, add that into the website section. If you have a phone number that you're going to definitely use to receive calls, make it easier for a recruiter to give you a call by adding your phone number in there. If you have an email address that you feel like sharing, share that so people can contact you easily for different jobs and opportunities that are out there. Or create a new email in Gmail and have that as the capture for all of your job prospects. My email that's on there is rongoshal00@gmail.com. The only reason I use that email is to receive job-based alerts. That is not my business email. That's not my personal email. It's a third email that I use only for that purpose. So set something like that up. Your social sharing links are also on there. And I will say that unless your social media is completely cleaned up and current, I wouldn't add your social media profiles onto LinkedIn. A lot of people have a Twitter or an X account and they'll add that link in there, which is great. But if you go to their profile and they have not posted anything about their career prospects or area of interest or anything professional in years, that just shows sort of a disconnect, right, between what you're presenting professionally and what you're actually working on actively. If you are current on X.com and you're a computer programmer, you're talking about all kinds of programming stuff, languages, building products, great. Put that link in there. That's relevant. You want someone to find you. If you have a portfolio website, add that in there. If it's current, it's updated, take the time to do that. Below that, you'll have some buttons available, such as Open To. I have an Open to Work section right below where the location is, and I have configured that section using the small edit pencil that's to the right of that section, and in that I have specified job titles that I'm looking for. I believe you're allowed to specify up to 5, and so make sure it's sort of broad spectrum and it gives an understanding of what types of jobs you're looking for. You also have to specify location types, whether you're open to on-site, hybrid, or remote. Different locations for on-site. So I have New York City metropolitan area. I also have Hackettstown, New Jersey, because that's my mailing address, and I'm interested in jobs that are much closer to my home as well. Besides locations, you can specify start dates, whether you're flexible or you can start immediately. You can specify employment types, full-time, part-time, contract, internship, temporary, and you can make all of that visible to either only recruiters or to all LinkedIn members. If you're working and you're secretly doing a job search, you want to make that available only to recruiters. And just so you are feeling safe, only recruiters that are not in your current company will be able to see that you're open to work. Recruiters that are associated with the same company profile that you're associated to will not be able to see your open to work status. So don't have that fear. Make sure you do specify that visibility. And then save it at the bottom and it will update on your profile. Next up, I'm going to talk about your About section, which is a critical space that you want to use. You want this to be unique. You want this to be authentic. You do not want this to be written by AI or ChatGPT. That is easily detected. It makes you sort of the humdrum narrative of your career, and you don't want to come across as something that's a person that's like a template of what AI thinks you should be. You need to be authentic. Put your About section as a separate project that you work on. Take a look at the maximum number of characters that's allowed there and start working on drafting and editing through what that About section is going to capture. Make sure it relates to the type of job you're looking for. Make sure there's some level of personalization there. At a young age, if you're early on in your career, you want to have some nuances of things that you worked on in college, some exciting project or trip that you took. Some level of personalization works. It shows that you're a human. It shows that you're more than just a job seeker. You're not going to be a robot at work, and you're going to get along with other peers and team members, and that influences the hiring process. So make sure it's authentic, it's real, and also make sure you leave it off with a warm welcome to connect with you. Mine, for example, at the bottom says contact me today about potential new roles, projects, product ideas, and to network partner and determine opportunity to support each other's goals and growth. And that is an open-ended welcome to anybody who comes to my profile, whether you're a recruiter, prospective employer, or whomever, to send me a connection request. I'm happy to connect with you, talk with you, introduce you to my network, talk to you about projects you have coming up and what I'm interested in as well. So make it warm, make it welcoming, and at the very bottom, make it keyword heavy. So you'll see at the bottom of my profile, I have written in the About section top skills, and I wrote specific top skills that I want to come up on keyword-based searches that recruiters do, whether it's on Google or on LinkedIn. And that keyword optimizes my About section and makes it more relevant to a search a recruiter might do. On the back end of LinkedIn is a product that HR teams and talent acquisition teams use called LinkedIn Recruiter. They pay hundreds of dollars per license to access this tool, because it allows them to scan all of the data that's on your profile across all of the billions of profiles on LinkedIn and find the right candidate. And then LinkedIn also does automatic ranking based on that tool. So you really want to make sure it's keyword optimized manually by putting that into the About section. And then, of course, in an automated way, it also adds a top skills section at the bottom of your About section based on what skills you allocate to the different experiences you list in your experience section. And we'll get there, okay? So don't get too caught up in all my technical stuff. Make the About section welcoming, make it real, make it true, make it about what you want to do for a company. Set yourself apart in this section. I also have a services section below my About section, which you guys may not have unless you have some sort of business offering or you set that section up. But if you do want to offer consulting services or other services as an independent consultant or a business owner, look up how to add services section on LinkedIn and then fill that out. Even for the services section, you can allocate skills that you have listed on your LinkedIn profile to the services that you are offering. This way, clients get an understanding of the skill sets that you bring to the table, and again, further keyword optimizes your profile. Below that, you'll see a featured section. If you've enabled a post that you've shared as a featured post. I have a lot of activity on LinkedIn that I do because that's what drives profile engagement on LinkedIn. And that also holistically is the best practice for you to develop your professional network and get a hold of opportunities that others may not be seeing on job boards or those that are even listed on LinkedIn. So activity is what is the secret sauce on LinkedIn, and I have a couple of pinned posts, and they show up in my featured section. Make sure they're professional. If you're applying for a job as a registered nurse and you are featuring things about, hey, I like puppies, or hey, I went to a club last night and this is my take on it, they may not correlate to what an employer is looking for, and it may not even make sense from that personalization piece to bring that up in an interview setting. So make sure, even if it's something personal or a personal interest, maybe it's a charity you donated to, maybe it's a cause you're interested in, something that aligns professionally well to position you well. That's the activity section. Below that is the most large section for me, experience. That section obviously has holistically grown as my career has progressed. There's an edit pencil on the right of the experience section. Click edit, and that will allow you to change the content for each experience that you've had. Each professional experience. It allows you to list the job, what type of job it was, contract, remote, full-time, whatever, what was the job title. It doesn't have to be the exact title. If you look at my first title on my profile, it says AI consultant, and then in brackets, I have product manager, solutions architect, implementation. Why? Because that makes all of that keyword centric, and no one ever told me that I can only list my job title. You don't have to. Make your profile work for you by really customizing it. And then below that, I have the content for what I did as an AI consultant for that job. So whatever is your job that you've had, what is the responsibilities that you had? And more important than responsibilities, what are the achievements that you achieved? How did you measure those achievements, right? Make sure every single thing that you write has an impact. It shows someone if they brought you into a seat at their company or into a job, what are they going to see from you within the first 30, 60, 90 days? That's what you need to start to demonstrate in every single line that you have on your experience section for each and every job that you have there. There is an enhance button for AI to enhance the content that you write, but my recommendation is write it yourself. You don't need AI to enhance every single thing. There's a lot of automations out there. Doesn't mean that you need to use all of them. Keep yourself distinctly different by using your own wording. The way you write your experiences is a progressive, iterative process for the rest of your career. So you might say, I'm a project manager, I gather requirements, and collaborate with different teams to bring a project live. And then you might read a job description and it says the same thing, but it really uses different words to say that. You might want to take some of that and stick it into your profile and optimize the way you describe that role and then apply to that job. Why? Because now your LinkedIn, the flavor of your LinkedIn content better matches up with the keywords and the phrases in that job description. So when the recruiter looks at your profile, they see something familiar. They're like, huh, this is exactly what's in our job description. Not word for word, but some words, some phrases match up and descriptively describes the same type of achievement or responsibility. Okay, so take the time to iterate on that. Okay, so that's the experience section. For every experience you add, there is an opportunity to allocate different skills that are on your profile to the job. And it should allow you to do that. So when you're editing it, it might say, what skills did you use in this job? So if it was something like nursing, cool. I worked at a vet's office. I used nursing as a skill. I used patient care, right? You want to add those skill sets in there, and all the skills that you add in your experience section populate down below in a separate section called skills. There is a limit to how many skills you can add to your profile, but I challenge you to reach that limit by making sure that you're developing those skills. You are truthfully putting that on your profile for the different jobs you've had, and making sure your profile is maturing in the right way. Those skills are also keyword searchable. Everything makes you rank higher on an applicant tracking system or a LinkedIn search on LinkedIn Recruiter. So make sure you take the time to update those correctly, but honestly. Finally, education comes up. You guys are in school, you're in this class, you're learning about it. Add your education section. As you get old like me, you take away some of those details, like the details of what courses I took, what projects like rocked my world, what I got excited about outside of the classroom in the university. But if you're at the university setting, add some of those nuanced details in there. What's the class that you were excited to wake up for? What cool project did you do that you can allocate to the work that you're doing here at Montclair? And add those details in there. You can add in your graduation year. You can add in your GPA if it's a great GPA, or leave those details out. Especially as you progress in your career, some of that will come up as age discrimination, because some people will say, "Oh, he's too young, she's too old." So there's going to be a time in your career that you're going to remove those details. But for now, add them in. If you have any licenses and certifications, that's like extra flex on your LinkedIn profile. Even when you're new and you're going for your degree, you're adding your degree in there, which is great. If you haven't achieved it, still add it in there, okay? Because you're gonna get there. And while you're in school, take the time to get some free certifications. Look up free certifications in your field, take the coursework, get them, add them to your profile. All of that stuff helps to position you further for the jobs you're looking for, and it really allows you to come up on more keyword searches. You can bring that into conversations and interviews and say, oh yeah, I studied this on the side, and it further positions you as somebody who is not just looking for a job, but actually interested in doing the work of that job. And the more you position yourself as somebody who's interested and influential, that's where you're going to start to set yourself apart. If you've done any volunteer work, add that in. There's going to be a volunteering section. And then you're going to encounter the skills section as an independent section down below. Maybe there's some skills that have already populated based on jobs you've added, projects you've added in the education section. But take the time to hit the edit pencil on that skill section, and you'll see that it's broken down in many different tabs: industry knowledge, tools and technologies, interpersonal skills, and other skills. Start adding your skill sets, and it will automatically put them into the right tabs. When a recruiter is using LinkedIn Recruiter, they might do a skills-based search. So you want to have that really solidly filled out so you come up as a high-ranking, relevant candidate for the job you're going after. You're going to have a lot of competition out there. All these steps may not be the nail in the coffin, but they're going to get you closer and closer to being seen beyond the applicant tracking system, beyond an AI tool that's going to look at your profile and rank you. Finally, there's a recommendation section. As you progress, get recommendations and be bold in requesting recommendations. When you are on LinkedIn, there's a plus button on the recommendation section, and that plus button says give recommendation or ask for a recommendation. Also, recommendations are keyword searchable, so make sure if they don't include a lot of keywords related to work that you've done, send them an edit request using the built-in function of LinkedIn recommendations and ask them, hey, listen, can you add in some of these keywords that I keep seeing on the jobs I'm applying to into my recommendation so it relates well for prospective employers to kind of put the pieces together. Okay, so take those steps, be bold, ask for your recommendations. And finally, down below, you'll see an interest section. That's all the companies that you're following, all the groups you're going to kind of join, any newsletters you're subscribing to on LinkedIn. Activity is the secret sauce. So take the time and follow the companies, not just when you're applying, but before you apply. Follow companies that you're going to apply to. Make sure you follow some keynote speakers, follow some people in your industry that are making waves, that are influential. Those similarities between who you follow and what you like to, hey, who I follow and who I like is what brings people together. That's what makes a hiring manager feel like, hey, this person has similar interests to me. They're probably going to get along well on my team. If I see them over coffee or over lunch, we're going to have something to talk about. There's going to be a human connection there. So make sure you take the time to do that. And also, very important, when you're applying to jobs on LinkedIn, there is a filter on the back end on LinkedIn Recruiter that says engaged with brand. And recruiters click that. Why? Because of the 1,000 people that apply to a job, only a subset of those people are following that company and that brand. So if you're part of that, you show up on a short list of candidates. And that makes you more inclined to get contacted because recruiters are not trying to sort through 1,000 people. They let the tool whittle it down for them. And they use the filters to do that, such as following brand. So I hope all this helps. There are so much more nuances to LinkedIn, such as networking, right? So besides following the companies and doing everything I've said so far, be bold, join a couple of groups. A lot of these groups are run by recruiters and headhunters anyways, so you'll be able to see the members in that group, and then you can contact the members and send them a personalized invite to connect and say, hey, I just joined this group, saw you're a member, hoping we can chat about something, right? AI, nursing, something, right? Make it warm. Don't just make it about seeking jobs. Nobody wants that transactional person. Join the groups, post a couple of things, see who else is authentically posting, and connect with them. Tell them you like their stuff. Take their article that they shared and share it with your own thoughts to your own network, right? Don't just always go through different articles and like it or have like a comment on it. Do those things. But then if it's interesting, be the thought leader. Even if you're young in your career, be a thought leader and be bold and brave and put your words out into the world. Share it with your own thoughts, add some hashtags in there, and put your thoughts out there. Tell the story of your job search as you progress through the job search and make that a series of posts that you do on LinkedIn. And just be bold and go out there. There's a lot of hiring that takes place, but it's all about the human element, but it's also about some of these technical nuances that I mentioned today. Hope that helps. If you guys ever need help, ask Professor Ghoshal or contact me on LinkedIn and you'll get tapped into my network as well. So you'll have lots of second-degree connections that will get you closer to a lot of people that you might be looking at to work for. All right, good luck out there, and best of luck in completing your degree, and have a great day.